They don't want what we know out there.
How a person can go from really almost nothing to becoming a millionaire by owning rental properties.
He would always buy these flip houses, and I just remember thinking, this guy is crazy. Why would he buy that house?
In the past decade, there's been a huge surge in the peer-to-peer short-term rental market.
Become an insider. So you have to know the rules before you get in the game.
Every second counts. So make every second count.
Welcome to the Real Estate Jam. Whether you're just beginning or the best of the best, we're glad you're here. We will share successes, failures, and strategies for the action-taking real estate investor. And now to your hosts, JD and Melissa.
Hi guys, welcome to the Real Estate Jam podcast. I'm JD with my wonderful co-host.
Hey JD.
How are you?
Melissa, I am super excited about today's episode.
I am too. I'm sure that we're going to learn a lot. I'm sure we're going to learn some about mindset, some of the multifamily stuff that everyone's interested in all the time. We have a giant among men with us today. We got Rod Khleif, and he's a multifamily investor, coach, mentor to thousands. And we're super excited to have you on the show today, Rod. Thank you so much for finding time to join us.
Oh, thanks for having me. And I'm only famous in my own mind. Okay. So, but thank you for that. But no, let's have some fun today, guys. I'm really looking forward to this.
Awesome. Well, I think, most of our audience probably has an idea who you are, but for those that don't, can you kind of give us a little bit of your background, show us where you came from, where you're at now? And
Sure. It's a long, painful story, but no, I'm kidding. But definitely had ups and downs, as you'll hear. So I'm actually an immigrant. I was born in the Netherlands, wooden shoes and windmills, and ended up immigrating when I was 6 years old with my brother Albert, my mother's Vancia, and we ended up in Denver, Colorado. And when we first got there, we really struggled. In fact, my mom, babysat kids so we'd have enough money to eat. I remember wearing clothes from the Goodwill and the Salvation Army until I was, old enough to lie about my age at Burger King when I was 14, because I was told to get a job flipping burgers so I could get my own clothes. And I remember we ate expired food. We shopped at an expired food store and drank powdered milk with our cereal in the morning, which, trust me, sounds better than it is. And, we really struggled. I'm sure you've got listeners that had it harder than I did, but I knew I wanted more. And luckily, my mom had an incredible work ethic. So she babysat kids, like I said, and with her babysitting money, she was a bit of an entrepreneur. She actually invested in the stock market. She invested in IPOs successfully but also invested in real estate. And her first real estate acquisition was the house directly across the street from us, from a family named the Jewels, that she bought when I was 14 for about $30,000 approximately. You can keep it in mind, this is that was 1974. Okay. So, but 30, 31, 32, something like that. But then when I was 17, she told me she'd made $20,000 in her sleep, that it had gone up in value $20,000. And I'm like, what? You just made 20 grand? You didn't do anything? Screw college. I'm getting into real estate, Mom. And so she wasn't happy about that, but I got into real estate, got my real estate broker's license actually right when I turned 18. I wasn't just an agent, I was a broker. You could do that back then with education. Now they got smart. You need some experience before you can actually have your own office. But I was a broker right when I turned 18. Well, my first year in real estate, I maybe made about 8 to 10 grand. My second year, 10 to 12 grand. But my third year, I made over $100,000, which back in 1980 was some pretty decent change. So what happened between year 2 and 3 that caused me to 10x my income? Well, what happened was I met a guy, I was actually dating his daughter, that taught me about the importance of mindset and psychology, and how really 80 to 90% of your success in anything, relationship, and of course, business is mindset and psychology. And so fast forward to today, I've owned a couple thousand houses that I've rented long-term in 3 states. I own thousands of apartment units. In 2006, my net worth went up $17 million while I slept. And you're like, wow. And I was like, wow. And my head got so freaking big, I could barely fit it through a door. I thought I was a real estate god. And when that happens, God of the universe will give you a nice little smack. Well, that was 2008. I got my ass handed to me in 2008. I lost $50 million conservatively. And so what I'm known for in talking about on my podcast and at my live events and so on and so forth is really the mindset it took to have 50 million to lose in the first place. But more importantly, or at least as importantly, the mindset it took to recover from having that happen. And so I'm happy to drill down on that to whatever degree you guys want.
Yeah. I mean, you have overcome that. You've figured out your mindset. One of the things that I think is great is you had your good mindset to get to that point. But what's the real trick is keeping that mindset after you've lost it and coming to build back. Do you mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So I get asked all the time, how'd you recover? What'd you do to get back? And I'll tell you, the biggest thing was reassociating with what I wanted and why I wanted it. So easy when we have something negative happen to us to either have that become our story or even our identity. It's very dangerous. Whatever your vehicle is for success is just that. It's a vehicle, be it real estate, be it entrepreneurship, investing, whatever it is. Don't let it become who you are. Because if the vehicle fails, you're okay. You just move on. But if it's your identity, then you're a failure. So it's very, very important to keep that separated. But what I did, if you come to one of my boot camps, for example, I've got one coming up the end of July, and I'll give your peeps a hell of a deal if they want to come. It's in Denver. But the first thing we do for the first hour and a half is goal setting on steroids. Because how the hell do you get anything if you don't know what it is? You got to know what it is, and you got to know why you what it is that you want and why you want it. Okay. And so, we do that process because, like I said, it's so easy. Really, actually, let me back up. The reason it's so critical is you have to have what Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, calls a burning desire. You've got to really want something to push through fear, to push through maybe limiting beliefs that you may have, or to get uncomfortable. The comfort zone's a warm place, and we all know nothing freaking grows there. I remember when I immigrated, I got thrown into school. I was 6 years old. I didn't speak English. And I found out what bullies were for the first time. And I got my butt kicked, and then, I hadn't learned how to fight back yet. I wish I'd run into a couple of those guys now, but anyway, so I and then to compound things, my mom, proud Dutch woman that she is, thought it'd be a great idea to send me to school in wooden shoes and those leather shorts the Germans wear for Oktoberfest, the lederhosen. So I got my butt kicked again. And then they'd chase me home, and my mom, thinking she was helping me, would chase them off with a fly swatter. Next day, ass kicking again. And so, I came up with this belief that I wasn't good enough, and many people have these limiting belief systems. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not, young enough, old enough, don't have enough time, don't have enough money, whatever. And there's a reason the acronym for belief systems is BS, because 99.9% of them are BS. But that's why you got to know what it is you want and why you want it. So you create that burning desire to take action. So that's the first thing. And if you'll let me describe my goal setting process. Now, if you're listening, I did this on January 1st on my Rod Khleif official Facebook page. And if you go to rodslinks.com, it's all my stuff there, rodslinks.com. At the bottom is this workshop. I recorded it with music, with a guide you can download. It's free. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. If you want to do this with your spouse or with your kids, it's very, very powerful, this goal setting workshop. What's crazy is most people spend more time planning a birthday party than they do designing their lives. And this is designing your life. So let me quickly describe the process. I'll do it real quick. You pick an hour when you have a lot of energy, and you sit down, make sure you're well hydrated. Don't do it right after a meal. And write down everything you could want in life: the houses, the cars, the boats, the jet skis, the planes, all the stuff that you want. Write down how much cash flow you want from your real estate, say in 3 years and in 10 years. Write down how much money you want in the bank in 3 years and 10 years, your case the stuff hits the fan fund. Write down all of that. Also write down everything you want to do in this lifetime. So it's not just the stuff, but here's the big thing. Take the lid off your brain. Imagine if you write it down, you're going to get it. That's not outside the realm of reality, because what that does, just writing it down, triggers something in your brain called your reticular activating system. And that's the subconscious filter in your brain that points your brain in the direction that it thinks you're interested in. And it's subconscious. You're not aware of it, but it works with your goals. But the greatest example of this, you know what I'm talking about, is when you first buy a car. You never really notice them, and then you see them everywhere. Well, were they there before? Of course they were. And that's that reticular activating system at work. And so, if you're analytical, don't think, I'll just think about my goals. If you don't keep them in your head, you got to write them down. If you're in your head, you're dead. So write them down. Then write down everything you want to do in this lifetime, places you want to visit. Like behind my green screen here, I've got a vision board of the places I have loved going to and places I haven't been to that I want to go to. Write down, maybe you want to, climb every mountain over 14,000 feet. I've got a friend doing that. I've got another friend hiking 60 miles for a charity, starts tomorrow. I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane a few years ago. I'll never freaking do it again. But that's that stuff, that bucket list stuff. Write that stuff down. Then you want to write down everything you want to learn in this lifetime. Okay. If you want to learn a foreign language, if you want to learn multifamily, for God's sakes, come see me in Denver at the end of July. In fact, let me mention that. So I've got a 3-day boot camp, July 29th, 30th, and 31st. Everything you want to know about multifamily. And let me tell you guys, I'm sure you guys know this. We're heading into a recession, and there is going to be extraordinary opportunity coming. You know, in 2008 and 9, I was hiding under a rock, and so I didn't capitalize on that debacle, but I'm going to absolutely capitalize on it this time. And so you guys, I will tell you, there will be more money made over the next few years than over the last 20 or 30 years. And so, you know, if you're thinking you want to invest in real estate or multifamily, for God's sakes, come to this boot camp. I'll give you a code so you can come for $197. It's not a sales pitch. So 3 days of training for $197, kind of a duh. And you know, Denver is United's hub, so you can fly nonstop from virtually anywhere. But if you want to come, text my name, Rod, to 72345. And then remember the code RODFRIEND. Use the code RODFRIEND. I'll do it for you guys since you're friends of JD and Melissa here. But you can come for $197. Again, it's not a sales pitch. Every aspect of this business, from building a team to finding deals, evaluating those deals, underwriting them, financing them, raising the money you need for your deals, syndicating, joint venturing, property management. And the reason my students are so freaking successful is I spend time on mindset and psychology, so they actually take action with what they learn. Okay. You know, my coaching students, I also have a coaching program, now own somewhere between 60 and 70,000 units. And I've only been teaching a little over 4 years. I'm super proud of that. I mean, in fact, that's what we know of. It's probably more than that. And so, you know, besides my kids, that's the thing I'm most proud of. And so again, if you can make my event, remember, text Rod to 72345, use the code RODFRIEND. But again, back to goal setting. Pick, decide, what you want to learn. Put that in there. So it's not just the stuff. It's everything you want to do, be, or have. Okay. And again, recognize how important this is. It's more important than a birthday party or a Christmas party. This is your life. And then lastly, write down who you want to help. We'll do more for others than we'll ever do for ourselves. And this is the fuel. Again, this is the fuel to get your butt up early in the morning, to stay up late, to work Saturdays, to grind for a few years like most people won't. So you live the rest of your life like most people can't. Okay. So write down who you want to help as well. And like about my parents, a house here on a canal when my dad was alive, bought him a car, took him on cruises. Make sure you write down who you want to do things for. Once you can't think of another thing, a couple more quick steps. Put a number on each goal, how many years it's going to take you to achieve it. Put a 1, a 3, a 5, even a 10 or a 20. Recognizing that as human beings, we will overestimate what we can do in a year and massively underestimate what we can do in 5, 10, 20 years. And I'll give you an example of this, but let me pre-frame this by saying I'm not bragging, okay? I just want to share some examples that I hope inspire you, but, and most of these things don't even interest me anymore, but back when I was living in Denver and I was 18, I knew I wanted to live on the beach, and obviously there's no beach in Denver. So, but I would visualize the palm trees and the sand and the surf. And 20 years later, I built this incredible, 10,000 square foot, $8 million mansion on the beach, which was practically unthinkable when I was 18, but I thought about it and I made it happen. So again, don't limit yourself. And so put a number by each goal. Then I want you to pick your number one goal. And again, if you go to rodslinks.com, you can get the guide, but you can just do this on a separate sheet of paper too. But pick your number one goal. I mean, that goal when you're like, oh my God, you've arrived when you achieve that goal. Put that on a separate sheet of paper. Then I want you to pick your top 3 one-year goals. Put those on a separate sheet of paper. Now leave room in between them, okay? Because you're going to write some things in between them. Now, I'm going to tell you, at this point, you're ahead of 99.9% of the people on the planet that'll do a New Year's resolution that's forgotten by February, okay? But there's just 2 more quick steps. One is you need to write down why that goal is an absolute must, okay? Each one of those goals. And use emotionally charged words like amazing, incredible, beautiful, as you're describing why you have to achieve those goals. So I can show my kids what incredible abundance looks like. So I can show my wife or husband what it means to live a life of unbelievable freedom. So we can have the freedom to do whatever we want, whenever we want, wherever we want, bring whoever we want, whatever it is that's going to juice you, put that down. Once you've got a positive reason why to reach each goal, I want you to put some pain in there if you don't achieve the goal, and make it freaking hurt. So I don't fail my kids. So I don't feel like a failure. Here's why. So I don't, live a life of regret. the reason why is we'll do more to avoid pain than gain pleasure. And again, this is the fuel. This is what you want to use. So make it hurt. And, I will tell you, there was this nurse in Australia, guys, that hospice nurse. And so she took care of people and they were about to die. And she asked them a question. She said, do you have any regrets? And she wrote a book about it. It's called The 5 Regrets of Dying. Her name's Bronnie Ware. You know what the number one regret was? Not living the life I could have living someone else's life, not doing what I know I'm capable of. I can't think of anything worse than that. So if you're listening to this and you're afraid of failure, fear regret much worse, okay? We fail our way to success, guys. I mean, I've built 27 businesses. I call them seminars. I don't call them failures when they fail. That was a $50 million seminar. Well, most of, several of those businesses of those 27 were tens of millions of dollars. Most spectacular flaming seminars. Okay. So don't fear failure. So anyway, you've got your positive, negative reasons why. The last thing is you got to go either make declarations and or get pictures of your goals. I'll give you some examples. Jim Carrey, the actor, the comedian, when he was flat broke, wrote himself a check for $10 million. For those of you millennials, a check is something we used to use to pay for things. And that was Venmo or Zillow or whatever that was. But anyway, so wrote himself a check. And he used to go by the Hollywood sign. He'd visualize cashing that check. And that's how much money he made for Dumb and Dumber. Give you another more recent example. Demi Lovato. 12 years ago, posted on social media, one day I'm going to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Not this last one. Go watch the one before. See him saying the national anthem. I'll give you some personal examples for me. And again, I'm not bragging. Please know that. Back when I was 18, I got a 4-door car because I figured I had to show houses, right? I was a real estate broker. I got this bone ugly Ford Granada, bench seat in the front, just a real piece of crap. Well, I told you the guy that taught me about mindset, he had 2 Corvettes. And since I was dating his daughter, he let me drive one. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I got a picture out of a magazine. This is before the internet. Got a picture out of a magazine of a Corvette, taped it on my visor in that piece of crap Granada. Within a year or two, I had a beautiful Corvette. Couple more quick examples. This is back when the TV show Magnum PI was out there. The actor is Tom Selleck. He was like a detective or something in Hawaii, and he drove this Ferrari 308. It was the first time I'd seen an exotic car, and I was like, oh my God. And so I got a picture of that actual car, put on the visor of my Corvette. Within a year or two, I had a Maserati look just like it. Last example. I'm the guy that always wanted a Lamborghini, okay? And I know, again, guys, if none of this stuff interests you, replace this with what interests you. But this, back in the day, this is what interested me. And, I had posters growing up of Lamborghinis. And my son actually, when he was 9 years old, had about 30 or 40 models of exotic cars. He had the Porsches and the Ferraris and the McLarens, and he had a Lamborghini, exact same color and style that I ended up getting, which I wrecked. But anyway, so get pictures. In fact, I'll show you. Do you put these on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, let me show you something. So this is my planner. It's on today. In the back of this thing are pictures. So those of you that can't see this, I'm holding up a paper planner. Yes, I'm a dinosaur. I use a paper planner. But anyway, in the back of this thing are pictures that I've had for 22 years in here. First pictures of my kids. They're my gratitude pictures. Anything you want to get in life, you get it through gratitude, either with prayer, visualization to manifest what you want. So these are pictures of my kids when they were very young. Then I've got pictures of the things that I wanted. This top picture looks just like that house I had on the beach, okay? 10-foot high glass, butt together, travertine floors. This is before I ever built it. Now, I lost that house and all the craziness, and I live in a compound. I've got a 2-acre compound on the water. I've got this big giant main house. I've got a 2-bedroom guest house on the water. I've got this media building, separate building with a video studio that I built to do virtual events and entertainment center, exercise facility. I mean, it's just off the hook. It's beautiful. And because God's got a sense of humor, I can see my old house across the bay. Literally, it's out my backyard. It's hilarious. But what's crazy is you guys that are just listening can't see this, but you guys see the white wall in those 2 pictures there, the white stone wall in those 2 pictures, separate pictures? That's my backyard. See the white stone wall? Is that freaking nuts? I just noticed that. And this is before I ever had any of this stuff. And then, pictures of stupid crap, like I've got a few $100,000 worth of watches. That's still a vice. I will admit that one. But there's the Lamborghini before I ever got it. Mine was black, but there's a picture of it, the Rolls Royce, Bentley. Again, none of this stuff may interest you, but I got all this stuff because I had pictures. So get them, put them around you, put them on the wall, put them on your screensaver. And that's how you bring, and I know some of you analytical ones are like, oh, please get onto the real estate stuff. Well, this is more freaking important than the real estate stuff. So anyway, I'll drop the mic there, but Hope that added a tiny bit of value.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Visualization and goal setting, and all of that is crucial in our business and in our lives every day. We probably don't do it as good as we could, but I think there is value in realizing that nothing happens unless you put action behind what you're looking to.
That's it. It's truly the lion's share of this. You get these, you get people that are super analytical. They get caught up in analysis paralysis, and they have to check off every single box before they make a move. But here's the thing. You can't see the whole path in this business. And sometimes, like Dr. Martin Luther King said, you take that first step in faith and the next step will be revealed. Lao Tzu, 1,000 years ago, said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You've got to take that first step, and then the next step will be revealed. And so, and I mean, you can drive all the way across this country at night, only seeing 50 feet in front of you, and you'll make it. Other people have made it. You may have obstacles, but you'll make it. It's the same way with your goals. You want to learn this multifamily business, you've got to take that first step. And even if you're just going to invest passively, I'd encourage you, if you don't learn from me, at least learn, because there is incredible opportunity coming, but you need to be able to determine if a deal's a good deal or not. So if you can come to my boot camp in Denver. Again, text my name, Rod, to 72345, and remember the code RODFRIEND. Now the price may be $700 at some point, but you can come for $197. If you have any issue, DM me on any social channel, and my team or I will help you. They've even got me on freaking TikTok now. I couldn't even spell TikTok 4 months ago, and I'm on there, and I've had like almost 1 million views on one video. It's an incredible platform. But anyway, I digress. So,
the question that I have, right, is so right now we have a lot of beginning and newer real estate investors, and a lot of them have this analysis paralysis, and they use this impending doom of this recession as a reason to stop. Can you talk about that a little bit? Listen, the soup is going to hit the fan, okay? With this current administration, we won't go down the political rabbit hole, but it's inevitable. And so, there's going to be, with crisis comes incredible opportunity. And again, if I wasn't hiding under a rock because I thought I was set for life when I lost everything, I would have, if I had not let fear take over, I would have capitalized and been on the back of my yacht right now. I'm just telling you for sure. Okay. And there will be incredible opportunity, but you've got to be ready in advance and ready when it happens. If you're trying to learn in the midst of it, it's going to be too late. You've got to build relationships. You've got to understand how to underwrite and finance these things, which is what we teach. But again, whether you learn from me or not, go to YouTube University, whatever, but learn it now so you can capitalize on it, because again, I don't see it happening again in our lifetime. So certainly not in mine, but we go through these big cycles, but it's going to be an incredible opportunity if you're poised and ready. And you don't need, the beautiful thing about multifamily is yes, they require money to close, but it doesn't have to be your own money. Okay. There's so much money looking for a home. And if you take the time to meet people that have money to invest, and you pre-frame them and let them know, there's going to be a lot of fear, and the media, the fake news will talk about how horrible things are and real estate will be bad for 10 years, which is the crap they pulled in 08 and 9. If you pre-frame them to ignore that and recognize when it's really bad is going to be incredible opportunity. Because these things cash flow. The name of the game is cash flow. And so people need a place to live. I'm going to tell you, in the 08-9 crash, within 3 years, rents had exceeded 06 levels. That's how fast it rebounded. And when COVID hit, I thought we were going to have a crash for sure. In fact, I did a YouTube video, my highest watched, the coming crash. And I got a lot of hate because I was wrong. But the point is they didn't step in to help people that own shopping centers and office buildings and industrial and retail and self-storage. They help people with their rent. We got hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent assistance via our renters, people. And so again, secure asset class, safe asset class, exciting asset class. And what's beautiful about, and those of you that do single family don't know this, is you can force appreciation. If you do single family, you're only going to be able to raise the value to whatever the comps sell for, right? But with multifamily, it's based on a multiple of the net income. I'll give you a great example. We just had a call literally an hour ago with my team at my San Antonio asset, 296 units. We numbered the parking spaces, and people, if they want to have their own reserved parking spot, they can pay $25 a month to have their own private parking spot. We had 106
say yes. Okay. Just to show you what that means in numbers. Let me do the math on that. So you take 106 times 25 times 12, and let's say divide it by a 4 cap. That is a $795,000 increase in value instantly. Okay. 795,000 just for letting people pick their own parking spots. Okay. That's why we love this freaking business. Anyway, so, and you can do that with, just by raising the rents, lowering expenses, you're able to what's called force appreciation. And that's the kind of deals we do. It's called value add, where you go and you improve the value, get the rents up, and it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
that is awesome.
Well, sorry about the low energy. I get excited talking about this stuff.
I don't even know if we can post this because it's so
right,
long.
So boring and lame.
Right.
I know.
But if our audience wanted to find out more about you, they can text the number.
Here's a couple things. Okay, so the boot camp, just text Rod to 72345, and you'll get sent to. Or go to rodindenver.com. Rodindenver.com is the website. By the way, go to the bottom of that thing and see the hundreds of testimonials unsolicited that are there. In fact, if you come and you don't absolutely freaking love the event afterwards, I don't mean like it, I mean love it. If you don't love it, let me know. I'll give you your money back. Okay. If you come, you will cry, you will laugh. It's not your typical real estate boot camp. You will create your identity. You will figure out where you're lacking in the areas of your life, including your personal areas, not just your business. Cause I believe in a balanced life, and it's pretty cool. And we do some really fun stuff, and I get you juice so you actually go do it. That's the important thing. It's not just the technical stuff. God, it doesn't matter what the vehicle is. You've got to really want it, so that, and that's what we do. And so, go. That's how you get that. Now, if you want to learn more about me, go to rodslinks.com, and it's got the bootcamp link there as well. But rodslinks.com has my podcast. I host the largest commercial real estate podcast in the world. It's called Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. We just broke 13 million downloads. Super proud of that. And I will tell you, even if you're not interested in multifamily, go listen to my podcast, because I do a clip every week called Own Your Power. Okay. And it's about just that, owning your power. They're 5 minutes long. I've got hundreds of them there. If you give me 5 minutes a week, I will freaking juice you. Okay. Like I just finished this week's, it's called the power of obstacles. I'm pushing through obstacles, and how, anything successful in my life I've ever created was through, pushing through obstacles, that you have to expect them. And so again, they're with music. I'm proud of them. I know you'll enjoy them, whether you like multifamily or not. And again, my podcast is called Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. And rodslinks.com is the best place to get. And there's lots of free books there, lots of free articles, just a ton of incredible information there that you can capitalize on. Whether you can, if you can't come to my boot camp, you will get a ton of value just from going there. So, yeah.
Awesome, Rod. Thank you so much for sharing with our audience. I'm sure they got some nuggets, and I think everyone could benefit from hopping over to your podcast.
Let me add one thing. I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you have a lot of agents and brokers that listen to your show and watch your show. Guys, you do not have a retirement plan. Well, EXP does, okay? But still, and EXP is awesome, by the way. If you're not in EXP, you damn well should call Melissa and get in EXP. But, the point is, in fact, I evaluated them heavily. I went to one of their events and I'm super impressed. And I just didn't have the bandwidth to start. But the point is, start investing, for God's sakes. You're the one that sees the best deals. And if you're not capitalizing on that and investing for your own self, huge mistake, respectfully, with love, but huge mistake. So, if whether you're my boot camp or not, learn this business so you can capitalize on it. Anyway, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you.
Thanks,
and by the way, you guys can come as my guests if you're interested. Just ping my team and love to have you there. Okay, awesome. Sure. All right, we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Jam. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information, check out our website, therealestatejam.com, or find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Real Estate Jam. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email at therealestatejam@gmail.com. See you next episode.